So Grigor, thank you so much for taking this time here in Madrid to speak a bit with the academy. We start. What memories you have from from those
You're going
times?
straight at it.
Yeah. Or
Yeah. I often talk about the time in the academy. I think it's always been for me in particular, has been very important. And I think the help that I got early in my development, I think was very vital. I come from a country with not much heritage on that end, only on the women's end. Um, but yeah, I think that was my first like kind of set the stone going to an academy, and you guys been so obviously so kind to accommodate me. As you remember, as you might recall, I was a very wild kid out there. But these are some of the years. Funny enough, I think these are some of the years that I think I really needed it. Now when I look back, I will not trade them for anything because of all the experiences I had. Of course, on the court and all the work that I've put in, I never shy away from it. I always knew that I can, play tennis and do other things in the same time. But for some reason, I was always able to come back to my basics, and that was to play the game.
yeah,
Despite the fact that I was not focusing on the work at hand at times, and I even remember that. But there was also a lot of other things that were inspiring me when you're in the academy with different players and obviously different coaches when you blend them in. So I think for me, those years I would never trade them.
yeah,
One of the best years of my life, and I think also that experience shaped me and helped me to not only play better tennis but to understand myself and go through experiences that I think maybe I would have gone at that time in my life more so in the early age.
yeah.
So to some extent, I also feel very lucky. So I think it was a very special time for me.
Were you together with Daniel at the time? Did you have
I
conditions
I
there?
I
Or?
missed no I missed him by I think couple of years or no 1 or 2 years,
Yes.
but I had so many good quality players at the
Yeah.
time. I mean, there was always someone to hit with also in the same time. And I think on the WTA end, I remember there were quite a few girls as
Yeah.
well. So at the beginning, I was even a little bit as a sparring partner, which
Yeah.
again it helped me just to feel a different ball coming at me. And I think it's just the diversity of what I was able
Yeah.
to do. It was something that I think helped my
Yeah.
game from a very different perspective. And I think clearly I knew how my game was, and how could I've developed it. Could I have been a bit more disciplined with certain things at the time? Yes, but in the same time, again, the experience that I gathered from every other
Yeah.
department, I think was more vital to me.
Yeah. And if you like will have to give a resume of advice to someone else about that experience of going away from home and
Yeah.
staying in an environment to improve and
Mhm.
so what will you recommend to them?
I always say it's a choice.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of a not a rude way to say it, but a bit more direct, because it's a choice in the end of the day. I think I left at 14 when I was away from home, but I also never felt I sacrificed anything. On top, I didn't have much of an options anyway. However, I never felt the need um, to do something else or
Yeah.
to explore something else, because I knew I had my mindset on the sport itself.
Yeah.
So,
And the dream
and
was
the dream was there. The dream
and
was
because
there.
you always had
Yeah,
this great talent, amazing style,
yeah,
this everybody compared to you
of
to
course.
the nice players and so and so. But uh, what you will tell a kid where the talent is there, but what was the most important for you to go through?
Never to shy away from the work. I think whatever else I was doing, I never shied away. I felt like I never cut corners,
Yeah,
And I think even now when I look back, again, I might have done so many other things outside of the sport, but every time that it came to it, I always had to finish the basket,
yeah,
finish the practice, finish the work. And I think you also build and you build not only that character, but the discipline you build along the way. You
yeah,
cannot be like 14, 15 and be completely disciplined. It
yeah.
doesn't exist,
And
you know?
Grigor is it's has a lot of talent, but how much he has from give you the tennis as
Mhm.
on the personal side to be able to deal with the other issues in life How much tennis helps on that?
I've said recently, actually, on quite a few moments in interviews, and I think for me, tennis saved my life on a couple of moments. I think from I've been close to finishing my career a couple of times, and I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm not shy to say it as well. I had big dips in my career, like a huge dips where I just thought that nothing could ever take me out of that. But guess what? Tennis was there for me, and it will always be there. Whether again, when I win or lose, that's the sport. That's the pillar of what has given me everything in my life, from my life to discipline to meeting people, to being in different academy, to meet different culture, finance, anything else that kind of goes around with it, and of course, last but not least, it all comes down from you.
Yeah. And for we always talk about the different pillars: technical, tactical, physical. Man, for you, what is the most important pillar in yourself, and what gives you the most to come out with those amazing moments coming out
Yeah,
from the resilience or adversity?
I think like calmness. I think when you're able to, I mean, you as a player also know when you're able to slow down your heart rate at any given time during the match, that gives you a tremendous amount of confidence and also belief. And I think all that happens behind the scenes. I think when you come to play a tournament, you're here to compete. You're not here to do baskets or to try something else or to invent something. No, everything happens behind it, and it starts with how with your nutrition, with your way you sleep, the way you practice. And I always say, the more you bleed during peaceful time, the less you bleed when you start competing. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. And of course, there's moments where you're gonna struggle throughout tournaments and places, but this is, I think, your deep core needs to be upon yourself.
Yeah. Everybody talks today about mental issues,
Yeah.
and with tennis players, we are always on the edge,
Mm-hmm.
and we always talk in the matches because someone in front of us is
Yeah,
bothering
yeah,
us, and we always talk about ourselves a lot. No, how is how is your conversation with
yeah,
yourself in the difficult moments, and how you come
yeah.
out in 25 seconds from a bad state to a good state?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think it's a real thing. I think mental toughness is, I would say, one of the most trickiest and one of the most difficult things to do. I think in our sport we have a next point. That's just how it is, and then you need to. I think as fast as you can brush it off, I think is the easiest thing. Of course, you get stuck in some moments, but let them in. Don't fight them. I always say, whatever comes, don't fight it. I think the more you try to fight it, the more you're gonna hit a wall. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not easy, but all that comes with the experience, with the way that you've dealt with big losses and big wins. And at times, actually, I often remember more of my big losses than the big wins, because this is where, okay, next time, what to do better or what to work on.
Barrier, huh?
Yeah, like some sort of a barrier that comes through. And tenacity, of course, in the
Yeah.
same time. If you don't try it, you never know as well. I mean, tennis is not a sprint. I mean, I'm 15 years on tour now, and I tell you, it's more of a marathon than anything else.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have your good moments, you're gonna have your bad moments. And I always say, it's not nothing is ever that good and nothing is ever that bad. I think if you manage to find that balance a little bit, and you're a little bit more comfortable within your skin, anything on the court out there won't really bother you.
Yeah.
But I always think it's a combined work from on and off the court.
And a couple moments where you said that you had struggle, but what are the positives that make you come out? That if you have to, like
Yeah,
say, I said this moment, I look for myself,
yeah.
or whatever it was that made you make the click to
Basics.
change again.
Basics. I think family. I mean, family, friends. I think these are the most vital things in
Yeah.
life. If you think about it, tennis is such a little period of our lives. I always say that because I'm realizing it more and more every year. I'm getting closer to the end than I was at the beginning, but you still can see and understand the two ends. And I think also you need to be able to see the two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So for me, when I was struggling, I always leaned back to my discipline. That's it. I was leaning to the hard work, and kept on believing that
Yeah.
that it will come eventually. Tennis is a sport that doesn't matter if you have amazing 2 weeks of practice,
Yeah.
you might end up losing 5 tournaments in a row first round.
And with Daniel, you had two seasons. First, when you did well
Yeah.
and won the Masters.
Yeah.
Because Daniel was also a student for years. He's gonna also do one of these stories as well from us, because
Yeah.
we believe he's done a transition
Yeah.
from a player to,
course,
to
of course,
now
yeah.
tournament director and everything. And you stop with him, and then you decide to start back.
Yeah.
And how has been Daniel important in this process of
Yeah.
coming back?
No, he's been I think very vital on very different variable moments, I think, throughout my career. But of course, for us was not only that. I think our friendship was more important than anything else. And everyone has fights. Everyone finds their own reasons for things. And I think me and him at the time, this is where we were.
Yeah.
And we also needed that time, I believe, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We both needed it. And now it was a new, in a way, it was a new beginning. Also, we both had to find a different way to work things out, so we don't repeat some of the mistakes. And plus, we added Jamie Delgado. I have my fitness coach for so many years. And
It's
I
good
think
to have,
it's good to have that. It's good to have that perspective.
It's good to have many of the guys now different voices.
It's okay. Last two questions, you have to go. So go ahead.
Yes, we don't. I just had to make more picture like this, and it's to have different voices like this is also a good motivation, since you've been very much with one coach and so.
I think so, but also I think you need when you're so many years on tour, so you cannot be too linear, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have a diversity of work that helps
Yeah.
you to
improve.
keep fresh, to improve, to find new goals, to be even more excited to go at it every day. Of course, no one wakes up every day and say, okay, I'm so excited to go for whatever it is. No, we all have our moments of the way we're dealing with things, but in the same time, I think more and more I've paid attention to who I'm having also next to me. And I think the selection of people around me has been very meticulous, just because I'm very protective of my own energy, and in the same time I want to make sure that when I'm going out there I'm 100% ready.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I have left to keep on doing it, but I want to make sure that every time I'm out there I'm ready.
Yeah, perfect. And last one, so you are now in a age, but it seems like you are on a climb,
Yeah.
like a young guy, like climbing up, because your level has improved a lot lately. And is this, you think, do you believe that this can be the best moment of your career, the way you're playing, and if you put the things together to be able maybe to get it, because the last goal is
For sure.
what
It
I
is.
couldn't make, but it's what
It
you're
is.
looking for, no?
No, of course. But I think in the same time, for me, I think it's also important to really enjoy my journey, but also enjoy the journey who I'm with as well.
Yeah.
I think, of course, the end destination, the end goal, it's for sure it's gonna be the best thing. But if not, at least there's times that I can look back and I'm like, you know what, I actually did and tried everything possible, and I did it in a my way, with with everything that I could possibly invest in myself. And this, for me, it's honestly it's a priceless thing. I don't know if I'm gonna be thinking like this one day when I'm, like, let's say, retired and I look back, but I think for now it's really my I'm treating a little bit the wins and losses kind of the same way.
Perfect.
And I think when I'm having good tournaments is also where I'm very appreciative and thankful, but also when I had losses like last week from 2 match points, I'm like, okay, it was meant to happen that way as well. So it's
and you find out.
one door closes, but huge window is opening, for example. So you never know.
I've got 3 words, Academy. 3 words.
Yeah.
3, whatever comes out first.
Comes out first. Okay, I would say experience. I'll say hard work as a one word.
Yeah.
And hustle.
Thank you so much.